This is the Six Figure Chick podcast featuring Kevin Palache. Do you have the right attorney by your side? Stay tuned to learn more.
Hey, buckle up, queens. It's time for the Six Figure Chick podcast, the one and only podcast made to teach Black women like you how to make a six-figure income. Whether you are a high-performing woman, professional, new business owner, author, speaker, or even a mom, you're sure to pick up golden nuggets of actionable advice when you listen to the Six Figure Chick podcast. Each week, we will deliver hard-hitting, no-nonsense, keep it real topics about being a Black woman in America and the
Girl, hush your mouth.
we deal with. We're going to talk about this
And that.
and we're going to talk about everything else that has held us back. No more, queens. It's time to hear from real people
With real life.
and real talk. So grab your best girlfriend and get ready for this ride. Hi, I'm Cherie Griffith-Dunn,
And I'm Nyilka Wright-Smith.
and this is the Six Figure Chick weekly podcast to help you win at work, in your business, and at home. The year of the Black woman is shaping out to be one powerful year. We are so excited to bring rich content about Black people, especially Black women who are pioneers and trailblazers of this great country. Today, we will discuss your business and how to take your business to the next level and give you some of the tools you need to ensure that you have everything lined up. We want to thank all of our listeners. We truly appreciate your feedback and your 5-star rating on our podcast. We do this because we know how important it is to have a voice for all women, especially now.
Oh my goodness.
Nyota, when we talk about what we're doing, helping Black women and bringing in amazing Black men, we haven't had any white men on the show yet, but we will. What does that mean to you, for the work that we're doing and the message that we're bringing to everyone?
Listen, to have a platform like this, to be heard, to let your voice be heard, being a Black woman in America is just a phenomenal thing to do because, so often we were on the back burner. We were behind time and now we're rising and it feels so good. It feels so amazing to know that, yes, we're stepping out, our voices are being heard, and it's just an amazing and awesome feeling. And to know that we have our brothers behind us, cheering us on and lifting us up, and it's just awesome. It's just a wonderful feeling to know that we have the support of not just our Black sisters, but also our white Caucasian sisters as well. So I'm really, really just happy about this platform. So thank you.
Yeah, to me, it's really, to me, a platform that's fostering unity. And something that we really need right now is for everyone to come together and really have a conversation around not what makes us different, but what makes us the same, right? Because at the end of the day, we all live the same life. We all want the same things in our life. It's just that some of us seem to get it a lot easier than others. And so in order for us to level out that playing field, we have to have a conversation.
We do.
So I'm excited to have this gentleman with us today. Kevin Palache is a LegalShield regional director for Connecticut. I met with him a while back, and I was so intrigued with the passion that he has around ensuring that everyone has their life aligned. And I think that the information he provides helps you to get back into the game. And not only does it does he teach that for your personal life, but also for your business? So I want you all to really, listen closely, pay attention, and take down some of these juicy nuggets that you're going to receive that could ultimately change the trajectory of your life today. Remember, we're not of a people who really sometimes, we don't really believe in taking future measures
Mm-hmm.
in our life. And it's time for us to do that, right? That's why it's time to get back in the game. And so we know that this gentleman is going to give you the tools on how to do that. So I'm so excited to have you, Kevin. Welcome to the Six Figure Chick Podcast.
Awesome, awesome. And thank you so much, Sheree and Nayoka, for inviting me on today onto your podcast. I really support and celebrate you guys on your, was it number 17, I think you said?
All
right, fantastic. But yeah, definitely support the mission and the cause. And I think it's so important, like you mentioned, for everyone to be able to get that voice and to be able to get support. So oftentimes there's lack of information, right? Lack of education that holds us back from our goals, right? So we may have the motivation where we might want to do it, go out there, have a successful business, have a successful life, but we don't have the knowledge, know-how, that support.
Mm-hmm.
We sometimes fall short of that goal. So I definitely encourage you guys to keep that movement going and keep providing that support, for those in the community.
Thank you,
Wonderful.
Kevin. That is so wonderful.
Thank you so much. Yes. I'm telling you, I'm like, yes, Kevin is on and he's going to bring it, okay? Because you are right. It's sometimes a lack of knowledge. People just don't know. They don't know what to do, when to do, where to do, how to do. And bringing on amazing people like you on our platform, on our podcast, is just yes. Finally people can stop with the excuses. No more excuses, because you're getting that information that you need to advance yourself, right? So stop with the excuses. So we're going to jump right on in here, Mr. Kevin. Tell us, what do you do? We want to know.
All right,
and
awesome.
Our audience wants to know.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll share a little bit about my background. So again, my name is Kevin Palache, and I've been involved with LegalShield now for about a little over 17 years. And it's funny, I get the joke all the time that I don't look like I'm old enough to be involved with anything for 17 years. But I started 25, just turned 42. And so it's the time has gone by quickly. And I'm a first generation college student, so pretty much, as I know we're talking kind of like a little pre-show here about Jamaica. So I'm actually originally from Jamaica. I came up when I was young and went to school in Hartford, Connecticut, and then went on to Bloomfield High School and graduated from Bloomfield High, went on to University of Connecticut, and as a first generation college student. And this, as we talked about earlier, the importance of education and having the support is because of people I've met along the way that helped me in that process. So even though my parents didn't have kind of direct access to what I needed to kind of go through college and experience or what to expect, we had different support structures that were in place. I was a part of Enrollment, which was a phenomenal organization, and they helped me to get even an internship. So even while I was there at UConn, was able to work in corporate America, kind of learn the ropes there. And after I graduated from UConn, went on to work, full time for an insurance company, and had a great time there. Learned a lot, but probably like a lot of folks, didn't want to work for someone else for the rest of my life. I used to get what we call the Sunday night blues, meaning that I was not looking forward to going to work Monday morning anymore. Right, I was looking for a plan B and options. And especially being that young, I kind of saw people who were a little further along, and I was like, I don't know if I want to kind of be in that situation. I want to have a plan B. And lo and behold, along comes LegalShield. And I think it was at the right time because as we talked about earlier, education, I read a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which if I had not read that book, I don't think I may have been as receptive to even becoming an entrepreneur, owning my own business. I thought I quote unquote made it. Because I was working in corporate America, I had my own little cubicle and everything, right? I got my own cubicle. What more could I want, right? And so I thought that was it, right? I was like, what more could I need? And so it really, and then that plus experiences there in corporate, it really helped me to kind of understand that there were other options, that it was possible to be financially successful without having to work for someone else. And so when I was approached with LegalShield, first of all, I saw the value in the services. I was like, hey, for $25 a month, to be able to get access to a network of over 5,000 attorneys with an average of 22 years of experience, that was a no-brainer for me. I was like, I'll try it out. I was like, man, even as a college student, I could have afforded $25, for the cert. And actually, I was thinking about it with the speed tickets I used to get back in the day. I definitely would have, gotten the service a lot younger in college, if I knew about it. And so I was really impressed with the services, with the value of the services and how responsive the attorneys were for just $25. Getting, call back within, now 4 business hours or less. And so that's what kind of compelled me to get involved as an independent associate, to be able to educate people in the community about the program. So at the time, I was on the executive board for 2 different nonprofit organizations. I was very active and still am, very active in the community. And I knew that, people need to know about these services. I looked at it more like a responsibility that I was in a blessed position to know about this program. And so my objective was to bless other people with at least knowing about it. I tell people, like, I don't care what you do with the information, you just need to have it, right? So if you have something that comes up, you at least know kind of where to go to be able to resolve any issues. And so that's how I got involved on the business side, initially part-time, and then a year later went full-time. So I've been, blessed to work from home now for about 16 years, thanks to the opportunity. But again, it's the foundation of what we do is the services that we offer to the community.
Okay, awesome. So the reason you got into it is basically because you wanted to find a way to bring in more income, is or see your way out of corporate America, because you figure, okay, how am I going to get financially stable, or where I need to get to financially if I'm working 9 to 5 at a fixed rate? So when the opportunity came to you, you're like, okay, let's figure it out. How can I get myself from this point to the next level? So tell me, what is this LegalShield about? What do you do? Why are you, what is it about? Because I'm sure there are people out there that may never have heard of LegalShield, right?
Right.
We're not going to assume that everybody knows what is LegalShield. So
Right.
tell us,
Yeah,
what is it?
so basically what LegalShield does, and LegalShield is it's a company that's been around now since 1972, so close to 50 years. And what we do is we give our members the ability to get access to their own network of attorneys without worrying about the typical high hourly costs. Because as you can imagine, most of us can't afford to pay $300 or $400 an hour to have a conversation with an attorney. So instead of $300 or $400 an hour, we're able to get access for as low as $24.95 a month for our personal plan, to our network of attorneys. Now, the question I had personally was, how is that possible for just $25 to get access to attorneys? And it's a large number. So right now, we have roughly about 4.5 million people who have access to the LegalShield benefit throughout North America. And so because that group buying power, the company does about $500 million a year in revenues, and they pay out over $100 million a year to our provider law firm network. So the benefit for us as members, it means that when we call in, we're getting access to these attorneys who have an average of 22 years of experience. We have over 5,000 in the network. And then a lot of them are AV rated, and most people don't even know what that means. We have an organization called Martindale that rates, individual attorneys and law firms, and AV is the highest rating that an attorney can receive. So a lot of them rank them on the top 5% of attorneys in the country. That's based on ethical standards, percentage of cases won. There's a peer review process that goes into it, and so that's essentially kind of like how the program works, how it came about. And what it does is that whenever we have an issue where we feel like we're taken advantage of or treated unfairly, or just want to get guidance, we don't have to worry or fret. We can pick up the phone and literally within 4 business hours or less, we're on the phone with an attorney who has experience in that area of law. So whether it's being able to get advice, they write letters and make phone calls on our behalf, review documents. We can get our wills prepared using the services, representation for speeding tickets. There's 24/7 emergency access. So if we get pulled over by law enforcement, if we get detained, if we get into a car accident where someone is injured, if the state is at your home to take a child away, there's a 24/7 emergency access that's also available with the program as well. So that's basically the crux of our legal services. And then we have like identity theft protection that we offer, which is another program. We have plans for small business owners, because obviously small business owners usually don't have a budget, especially starting off. You don't have a big budget set aside for legal expenses for your business, right? And so we have basically for just $38 a month, we have what's like a hybrid plan, which covers them individually and covers that small business owner if they don't have any employees. And we have other plans for businesses with employees as well. But bottom line is that if you get access to an attorney, with questions and concerns as it relates to their business. Maybe they have a business document we need to have reviewed. We have a lot of landlords, so a lot of people who have so they have rental property and they want to get their standard lease agreement reviewed, or have questions with dealing with tenants. So those are some examples of how a lot of our members, utilize the program.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Seriously.
Yeah,
For what?
that's
How much? 25?
Well, yeah. So I mean, our personal plan, our personal plan, which is why I started with initially. I didn't have a business back then, and $25 a month. So it's $24.95 a month. For our personal plan, and that covers the will, the unlimited personal questions, letters and phone calls. And so, example of this, and because a lot of people ask, well, how does this work? And what are some examples? Because I have to be honest with you, when I first heard of legal services, my first response was like, hey, I don't get into trouble. Like, I'm a good person. I don't get into legal. Okay, an occasional speeding ticket, but that's about it. Right. And so it really helped me when I really started to see the day-to-day ways that our members use the program. And so even for myself, I had an issue a while back with my previous vehicle. I brought in to get my air conditioner fixed over the summertime. And when I got the car back and went on the highway, the air coming through the vents was higher than the air outside. And it was obvious. They didn't do the repairs properly. And it's like 100-degree day. I got my suit on. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And so I get to run around for the manager, which I didn't expect. I thought they would do the right thing, but that happens sometimes. And so I ended up calling in to my LegalShield provider attorney, something I would never even think about doing if I didn't have the service. But I called in just to get advice on my consumer rights. And they said, hey, we're going to place a phone call for you. They actually spoke with the manager at the repair shop. In addition to getting them to make the repairs, they also got them to waive all the labor fees. So it was over $250 in labor charges that I was able to save by them just simply making a phone call on my behalf. So they resolved it just like that with a phone call, something that I probably never would have been able to resolve on my own. And so it was kind of funny because what the attorney said when he spoke with the manager, all the manager kept saying over and over again was, I can't believe this guy called his attorney. Right? Like he was in disbelief. Like he was saying that to the attorney. And you think about it, most people for a $200, $300 situation, they're not going to call an attorney because they know the cost of an attorney is going to be more than the legal issue. So and we say sometimes in America, people have this mindset that it's literally just cheaper to get ripped off than it is to seek justice, right? And so for us as members, it means people can't take advantage of us and get away with it anymore. We have to be able to know what our rights are and then be able to get it enforced. So whether it's for personal issues or for, we have like a business owner, he has a construction company and a security business, and he did business with someone out of state that didn't pay him afterwards, which sometimes happens as a business owner, right? And so he called into his LegalShield provider attorney. They contacted his client. And he said it was literally like thousands of dollars that he was able to get back in that situation. And he didn't have to pay anything more than his monthly membership fee. They were able to resolve it, sometimes with a letter phone call. That alone is able to resolve the issue.
Hold
So
up.
it's like having.
Go ahead, Sheree.
I was going to say, so it's like having power in your pocket.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we say it's like having a law firm in the palm of your hand, right? So literally anytime you have a situation that comes up, and we tell people don't hesitate. Like if you have an issue, you're like, that doesn't feel right, doesn't seem right. Pick up the phone, call your law firm, right? It's included within your monthly membership fee. We literally have used the plan over 50 times since we've had them. Like literally, like I had them count like they call them intakes. Like just with questions that come up. Like we had an issue last year with a tree. We had a bad storm and a tree fell on our garage. I've never had to use my homeowner's insurance before, but I was like, hey, what can I expect with this process? So I called the law firm and literally within less than an hour, I was on the phone with the attorney, and they're like, here's what to expect. Here's how to document. See, they made me a lot more comfortable going through that process, having their guidance, than trying to keep my fingers crossed and hope that I'm done right by the insurance company. So so again, it's like anything that comes up, we don't hesitate. Whether you have a business or it's for personal reasons, we call in and get those questions answered.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. That is pretty interesting. I mean, even a speeding ticket.
Yeah, I know that from personal experience. Like I got a ticket. This is a while back, knock on wood, I haven't had one in a little while. But in Albany, New York, I live in Connecticut. Obviously, I got a ticket in Albany, New York. And so I got back to Connecticut. I sent a ticket to a law firm here in Connecticut. They sent it to a law firm in Albany because, again, that national network. And the attorney actually went to court on my behalf. He got all the points thrown out. So then it affected my insurance rates, which is the biggest thing. It's not even about the cost of the ticket. It's the increased cost of insurance over time. And what I didn't even realize at that time is that in some states, you don't have to physically be there. So I was able to fill out a form giving the attorney permission to go to court on my behalf. So I didn't have to drive, I don't know, was it 2-3 hours one way or whatever it is to go there. I mean, so not only did it save me money, but it saved me time as well, right? Which is huge, right? So again, we always
Wow.
tell people it's not like reckless driving, it's just that you have your license and registration in good order, just a regular
Right.
speeding ticket. So I've had that situation where they've gone for me, and I've had another issue here in Connecticut. Again, just a regular ticket. This, again, not always a long time ago, early on in the membership. But they were here in Connecticut. I actually went to court with them in that situation, and I learned there that if you have an attorney with you in court for even a speeding ticket, you actually go first. So literally, it was like 10 o'clock. I was in the courthouse. Like the attorney talked to the judge or whatever. Everyone else is like seated, waiting for their turn. Right? He goes in, says what he says to the judge, come out and take like 1 day class or something to make sure it didn't hit my record. And that was it, right? Like literally, I was back in my car like 10:15, 10:20, right? Which is amazing. So again, I was back in my younger days. I got tickets more often, right? But yeah, it's just good for all those, for people who have maybe teenage drivers that drive a little too fast, right? or maybe you drive like a teenager yourself. It kind of gives that extra protection just in case.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
I
good
like
to
that
know.
you keep referencing. I am a good driver. That was a
Right.
long time.
I am.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was a long time ago. It was a long time ago. I've left that life behind, right?
Right, right, right. I mean, had my brother known this, he went on a trip to Georgia,
Mhm.
and so when you have to go through Virginia,
Mhm.
it's like every
Yep.
mile there cops all over, and he got two on the
Oh,
way back from Georgia,
good Lord.
and he had to. I think he had to go back there. As a
Wow.
matter of fact, so had he known about LegalShield, you
Yeah.
guys could have taken good care of that for him. But wow, this is good information. That's good to know.
Yeah. Knowledge is power. Yep. Yeah. And I've had that experience before. I had Legal Shield. Again, this is before I had I had a ticket in New Jersey, and the same thing. I had to go take time off of work, go down there, and I still got charged the whole
Hmm.
amount. So that's one of the things where I immediately understood the value of the service. Like when I saw the overview, I was like, man, for that alone, just in case, it's worth having this protection, right? In addition to everything else that's covered with the program.
That is
Yeah, that's great. Now we can drive without being in fear when we go through those states, right? Because I know
Right.
you go to New Jersey, you're holding your breath. You're just like, I'm just gonna go 55. The speed limit is 65. I'm gonna go 55 because I don't need a ticket because I don't want to come back.
Right.
So that's
Well,
great.
it seems to be a really awesome service that you are offering, Kevin. So you started out just as a member, and now you are. What are you in the company?
Yeah.
Have you? Go
Yeah,
ahead
so I
and
start off as
explain.
just a member having a service, and just like anything else, we tell people if you go to a good restaurant, a good movie, you're gonna tell other people about it, right? So
Hmm.
like after I use the service, I was like, I'm gonna tell people there's no way I'm gonna have a family member pay $500,000 for a will when I'm getting mine done for my $25 a month membership, or have a speeding ticket or a consumer issue, or obviously small business owners who like naturally would be like, oh no, you need to check in with your legal show benefit. So I was like, why not position myself to get paid for those same referrals? And so I got started as an independent associate with the company, and then over the years got appointed as a regional director, which just basically means I just kind of help to facilitate trainings and events here in the state of Connecticut, for other independent associates in the area. But I'm an independent associate, so I'm not a W-2, which is what I wanted. I wanted to have the flexibility of setting my own hours. So man, this past year, especially, everyone's been I've kind of lived through the pandemic, and with both of our kids, we got a 10-year-old and a 6-year-old, and they were both home, from school
Hmm.
this past year. My son just about a month ago started going back in person for school, and so it just meant the world for me just being here at home, not having to figure out, okay, how many vacation days do I have? Do I need to go into the office or doing that? Like it's just for me a regular day, because I work from home anyway. So I just utilize obviously Zoom a lot more this past year than ever before. But it meant the world to me having that flexibility. So when I went from part time to full time in Legal Shield, you can't you don't know what the future is going to hold. But one of the things I always wanted is to have that potential, that flexibility to be able to kind of put together my own hours. So, but yeah, that's what the kind of opportunity side has done for me.
Okay, awesome. So if you were supposed to like if you don't want to be a member anymore, right? Is there a penalty behind that if you're saying that, okay, I want to unsubscribe, or what is it, something like that? Is there a penalty for that, for doing that? If
No,
you do
it's
not
it's actually
no longer want to be a member.
Yeah, it's actually a month-to-month service, so there's no enrollment fee, there's no cancellation fee to stop your protection, which is why, for me personally, I decided to try it out right away. I was like, man, I'll try it out for $25. Like, if they pick up the phone, I'm in. Like, that was my whole mindset. Like, if I actually hear back from an attorney in 4 hours, like an actual attorney, like I'm in. Like, because I understood the value of for $25 what I was getting access to. So, but yeah, it's a month to month, so we're not held kind of contract hostage, if you will, for the plan. So most people, once they have the plan, they're responsible enough to know, like, man, this is something I want to make sure I have all the time, because heaven forbid something actually happens and you're not covered with the plan, right? So a lot of people, when they have it, they understand the value, especially if they use it right away. They understand the immediate value of what they have access to.
Wow, awesome.
Yeah, I have a question. So for a business owner, right? I know Nayoka and I work a lot with startup companies, startup entrepreneurs, and the one question they're always asking is, should I LLC my business, or should I, what should I do? What type of business structure should I have? So is that something that they can ask the attorney when they get the business package? Call up an attorney and kind of ask them, what's the best structure for my business? And this is what I'm thinking about.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So if they want to know from a legal standpoint, and then some of the stuff is like, some of the questions you're going to want to speak to your attorney about, and some of them you want to speak to your accountant about, right? So we're always clear on that. Like, and that's one of the things, those kind of pillars that you need when you have a business. You need to have, a good, accountant or someone to give you at least general financial advice as it relates to running your business. And you need to have a good attorney on staff, if you will, as well. And so, but from a legal standpoint, absolutely. When you call in, you're like, well, what's the difference, right? LLC, S corp, what's the difference between those legal structures? How does that protect me and my own personal assets? Absolutely. Those are all questions that you can speak with the attorneys about, and to be able to get guidance as to what route you should take. And then we even have something like, called Launch by LegalShield, which is, basically $150. It depends on kind of what entity they're creating, but they could pay upfront, like say it's the $114 option, and they get 3 months of our legal plan included with that, and they'll actually do the LLC on their behalf as well. If they already know they want to get an LLC put together right away, we do have options to help them do the LLC using their Legal Shield benefit as well. So it really depends on kind of where they are. If they don't know what they want, then they could definitely just utilize their advice portion, just enroll as a member, and they can use it to get advice on their situation.
That's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
It takes the confusion out of being a business owner.
Right.
And it's not as scary, excuse me, it's not as scary as a lot of people seem to think it is, because like, Nayoka said earlier, without the knowledge, it's hard to move. It's hard to do things. And when you have, enough knowledge and information, you make better decisions, and you feel more confident with the decisions that you're making. So I just think that's just overall in itself a bonus, because a lot of people don't really understand what they're doing when they go to Secretary of State to LLC their business, or to do a sole proprietor or whatever. They're doing it and going, ooh, I hope this works. And not really understanding the ramifications after, right? Hence the accountant comes in. But I bet that the attorney would be able to give them and say, okay, you need to speak to an accountant based on these items here. So again, you're talking, that is such a small fee compared to trying to go to Mr. Google, I call him, in research to get your answer, which sometimes it then becomes interpretation of your own self. And if you didn't know the information to begin with, your interpretation might be a little off.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. Everyone's individual circumstances are different. So that's exactly why you want to be able to speak with an attorney. So you can say, look, for my specific circumstances, for my specific type of business, for my specific risk tolerance, right? Here, what would you recommend in that situation? So yeah, exactly right. And that knowledge, we always say knowledge is power, but you got to apply it as well. So not just knowing it, you got to take action.
This is so true. You can have all the knowledge you can and have in this entire world, but if you are not taking action and using it, it's definitely not power. Okay. But when it's applied, then it becomes power, because it's now you're working it, right? It's working for you. So, Mr. Kevin, tell us, if someone is out there listening, and I know they are, and they're interested in this type of service that you're offering, how can they reach you? Where can they reach you? How can they not only become members, but maybe they want to earn a little something, something extra also, right? So tell us, how could they go about doing all of that?
Yeah, I mean, the best option is probably just right on my website. So it's connected. We have our own kind of independent associate websites with LegalShield. So my own personal one, you'll see my picture pop up and everything. It's just kevinpalache.com. That's probably the easiest way. So Kevin Palache, spelled P's and Paul, Alache. So kevinpalache.com, and that's Palache. And then I have another website, familyrightsplan.com. So www.familyrightsplan.com, and that actually links right to my kind of LegalShield website. It has like, a contact us section there. You can type in a message. I'll get right to my email. My phone number is right on there if you prefer to give me a call with any further details or questions that you may have as well.
Wonderful. Thank you
Wonderful.
so much. Oh my God.
Before we wrap up, Naya, I do want to go back to something that you talked about, Kevin, in reference to wills, because I know that in our community, it's something that most of us don't have. And so, you're saying that it's $25 a month, and then someone can go get their will. Now, when they do the plan, does it cover their family in the household, or do they need to have an individual plan for each person? Or is there a different process for something?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, I didn't cover that earlier. Yeah, so for that $25 a month, it covers the actual member who enrolls, their spouse or significant other, because sometimes even if they're not married but they live together, they can include their significant other. And then any children are covered and protected with the plan all the way up to the age of 26, just as long as they're living at home or going to school full time. If they have a child that has a mental or physical disability, they're actually covered for the entire lifetime under the membership, just as long as they're living at home. And then to your point of the will preparation, very, very important that the member and their significant other get their wills done. I know my wife and I, have gotten ours done now like 3 times. So when we got married, we got it prepared. When we had our daughter, we got it updated. When we had our son, we got it updated again. So those are very important. That's a great point that you made, because you're right. A lot of people in our community, we have this misconception that, you got to be a millionaire. Like only, the millionaires have the wills. And it's like, no. And they're saying that as their kids are running around, and not realizing that, heaven forbid, for us, our mindset was like, heaven forbid, if something would have happened to both of us, my wife and I, the last thing in the world we'd want is for like the state or some random judge somewhere to make any decisions as to who would take care of our children. So forget about the house and vehicles and any other assets you may have. If you have children, you want to make sure, heaven forbid, something were to happen, who would take care of your children, right? Who would take custody of your children in the event something would happen, instead of people fighting over, who would take care of them. You have that in writing. And even things like the minor trust, who would take care of their finances until they reach a certain age. I mean, those are the types of things that are included within the will preparation. This past year with COVID, a lot of people understood the importance of getting things like their healthcare and financial power of attorney in place. Because if you're in the hospital and you can't make a medical decision or financial decision, because guess what? The bills are going to keep coming. Right? So who's going to pay the mortgage? Who's going to pay the rent? Who's going to have access to those accounts? So you need to have that financial power and medical power of attorney put together, so that you have someone that's in place to make any medical or financial decisions on your behalf. So those are all part of the estate planning that's included within the service.
Okay. So then if I come to you and I say, okay, Kevin, I'm ready to get started, what do you do? What's the first thing that you do if I come to you and I say, hey, what do I do? How do I get started?
Yeah, I mean, basically the enrollment process takes literally like 3 minutes. So it's basically person's name, address, email address to get your email confirmation, your payment method. And then, like I mentioned, on my website, whether it's kevinpalache.com, that links right to my personal LegalShield page, or familyrightsplan.com, goes to the same place. Basically we can enroll them there. And again, at the end of the process, they'll get an email within 24 hours. It'll have the phone number for their provider law firm in their state. Have obviously all the contact information for the law firm. It'll have their membership number included with the email as well. And then literally, by the next business day, essentially, they could actually call in and start utilizing their services. So it's like immediate usage that they'll be able to get access to with the plan. So that's basically the process of how we enroll. And usually I follow up with folks to make sure they know how to get access to the full benefits of the plan and have full understanding of what's covered, with the actual service. And I encourage people to use their plan right away, right? It's kind of rare with, different types of coverage. Usually you don't get encouraged to use it. Like, no, we're like, no, day one, we want you to call in because it helps you to understand the power of what you have and makes you much more comfortable. That's why I personally use it over 50 times. I don't hesitate. Like questions come up, like, let me call my law firm, see what they recommend, right? Because it's included within the plan.
I love that. It's so bougie, right?
Yep. Hold on, let me call my law firm and check on this.
Wait, and so what I did was I looked and said, okay, so I have a family of 8, right? Because I have 6 kids. And so for my family to get this plan, it's $3.13 a person.
Wow. Absolutely.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And especially when we know that a will and to get all those other juicy bonuses that you need, like the HIPAA. Okay, we always are signing HIPAAs in the hospitals, but people don't really read what it says. That stuff does not protect you. So when you have a real HIPAA done with your attorney, then you give that document to the hospital, right? Who's working, and you never ever sign another one of their HIPAAs again because you already have it on file. But that could be $1,000, and you're talking all of that juiciness bottled together for $25 a month. Or a business owner, which I think is very, very important for a business owner, at $38 a month.
Right.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer. No-brainer, guys. Yeah, I love it. And especially with what COVID has done, I think people should realize the unknown is always around the corner. And so why not be prepared?
Right. There are no surprises, right, Kevin? It sounds too good to be true, huh? Hey, there are people thinking that way, so we have to throw it out there, right?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I always tell people just don't rob a bank, right? Don't rob a bank. That's not covered with your $25 a month, right? So I always tell people to be reasonable with their expectations, right? So I can't expect to rob a bank and think for $25. Yeah, everything's going to be included, right? So most things for the average everyday person, 80% of things are covered at no additional charge. But if you do have something like that, more severe, DUI, criminal charges, maybe it's a contested divorce, right? Those are covered at a discounted rate. But by and large, for the average person, the average issues they deal with, they're covered under the plan.
Perfect. Wonderful.
That's
this is good information.
What else do the people want to hear? I mean, I just think that it's fantastic to have you as a friend, right? And now you're a friend of the show, so we're super excited about that. But
when we need help,
we gonna call Kevin. He's like, "Girl, you better call that attorney and get us something." You know the process. No, seriously, and because I can hear the passion, right, that you have for what it is that you do, because it really just makes sense, people. I mean, it's less than having a coffee a day when you think about it, right? People are paying over $2 a day for a coffee, right? That's at the end of the month. That's way more than what it costs for to protect yourself, especially. And I love it for the sheer fact of being protected after Black Lives Matters. We still have a lot of issues in our communities, and until we get those things resolved, we need that protection, because I think that it's really going to help others just really feel that confidence when they're driving and when they're in their communities and when they get stopped by a police officer, because they know that they have the support behind them.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
that's another powerful benefit, that 24/7 emergency access. And we've had people who've used that. We actually had a group of folks who were coming back, and I think it was West Virginia. I forgot what state it was in, but they were pulled over, and it was just like a speeding ticket. But they were actually asked to come out of their vehicle and sit on I think it was like on the passenger side of the police officer's vehicle, which is like, for us, I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I usually stay in the car, you get a ticket. Well, they actually called the LegalShield provider attorney, and he said for that particular state or that area, that was actually commonplace for like the person to come out. So they stayed on the line with the actual member. just to, just to, again, make sure they're comfortable with the whole situation. They got their ticket, went off, and then they were able to use the service to get representation for that moving violation. But you can imagine, like, if you didn't have the service, like, wait a second, I don't feel comfortable with this at all, right? If you just don't know. So again, for so many different reasons, it's important to make sure you have that peace of mind and protection, right? Having access to the program.
I agree.
That's big. That right there is big. And especially as you're talking and saying that, I, think about myself. We're always driving late at night sometimes, right? And if you get stopped, you want to make sure that, there's no shenanigans going on, right? This
Right.
is legit. And, this guy is, whatever he's asking me to do is protocol.
Right.
So, yeah. Good stuff.
Awesome. And then the police, they all should know about LegalShield, right? When I pull something out to say, hey, I'm a member.
Yeah, we used to have the member cards. Now we got an app for new members. But yeah, same thing. We got our emergency button. We press that button, and within usually less than literally a couple of minutes, we're on the phone live with an attorney. So they obviously screen it and make sure it's an actual emergency. It's not like you didn't like the way your neighbor cut the lawn or something, right? But they make sure it's an actual emergency, and then just as long as that's verified. And it's just like doctors who are on call 24 hours a day for emergencies. They actually have a specific amount of attorneys who are on call 24 hours a day. So it doesn't matter if it's 10 o'clock at night, 2 o'clock in the morning. I had one of our members who's a single mom, and she had a situation like the police was there to take away a child and found out when they called the attorney they didn't have even the necessary paperwork to even be there. So again, all those things that that you want to make sure you get the access to and the information to right away for those emergency situations. We're able to provide that under the program. So, but yeah, we say it's always better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Right. So you want to be proactive.
So true.
Yeah. I'm like, I think everyone needs a LegalShield badge, right?
I'm covered. Yep.
Create a badge. It gets stopped. I got my badge. Oh, this is fantastic. Kevin, thank you so very much for blessing us today and our audience with these great juicy nuggets. It is passionate people like you in our community who really stepping up to do incredible, incredible things when other people may not see it for themselves. They may not understand what's behind it and how it actually works. And so thank you so much for explaining how LegalShield works and the importance of being protected. This has been fantastic.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Thank you so much, Kevin. We so appreciate you being on with us. Let me say to our podcast listeners, we know that you can listen to several different podcasts out there, but you stopped by to listen to the Six Figure Chick, okay? And we just want to say thank you for your love, for your support. We want to let you know if you want to hear more juiciness, okay? And when we say juiciness, we mean the real juiciness comes from the Six Figure Chick podcast, right, Cherie? Check us out on YouTube. Right? Check us out on YouTube. Do not forget to like and subscribe.
The best word.
Give us some thumbs up, okay? You'll see us in our green room, experience what we do. As always, I am Nayoka Wright-Smith, and I am president of NAWS Coaching and Consulting LLC, and I am a business wealth expert. I help my client by empowering them with the knowledge, the skills, the guidance, and recommendation they need to help them build wealth. Thank you so much for being with us today. Cherie, tell us about yourself.
I'm Cherie Griffith-Dunn. I am your business wealth. Oh, no, I'm not a wealth coach. Why am I saying that? I am your business coach. I'm also an international co-author and as well as a best-selling author on Amazon. It is a pleasure to be here every week, providing you with juicy content to give you the knowledge that you need to keep going in your life. Please be sure to go visit me at CherieGriffithdunn.com where you can go and ask me questions and subscribe and get to know more about me. Thank you all for joining us today. And as always, bye for now.
Bye for
Thank you,
now.
guys.
Hard-hitting career and business advice. To stay connected, follow me on Instagram at Cherie Griffith Dunn. And if you would like to be a part of the baddest club around, join High Performing Women Academy, the place where you belong. Go to hpwacademy.com. And as always, if you like what you hear, come back and next time, bring a friend. If you're interested in sponsoring, donating, or even advertising your business with me, please contact me at connect@CherieGriffithDunn.com.